If you started spending $1 million every single day since 3000 BC, and I'm talking ancient Egypt, pyramids, pharaohs, the whole shebang, you'd have blown through about $1.8 billion by now. To burn through $39 trillion at that pace, you'd need to keep shopping for another 21,000 years. Yeah, you heard that right. 21,000 years. That's not a typo, folks. I'm dead serious. Now, this isn't some economist wet dream or a doomsday prepper's fantasy. Nah, this is the real-time number ticking away on the US Treasury website. 39 trillion in national debt and counting like there's no tomorrow. March 18th, 2026. That's when we officially crossed the line. And here's the kicker. If you're an American family of four, your household share of this mess is about $468,000. That's before your mortgage, before your car payments, before little Timmy's college fund. Ouch, I can't even. Oh, and it gets better. It's growing at $80,000 per second. So in the time it takes you to watch a 15-second TikTok, Uncle Sam just racked up another $1.2 million in IOUs. No joke. So, what does this actually mean for your wallet, your investments, your future? That's what we're breaking down today. Buckle up, folks. It's gonna be a wild ride. Say less. Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the basics. Part 1. Just how big is $39 trillion? Really? Look. $39 trillion is so big our brains literally can't process it. It's like trying to imagine infinity, or why your ex ghosted you, or why avocado toast costs $15. So, let's make it real. Okay? If you converted 39 trillion into $100 bills, first of all, stack them up. And you're going past the moon. Not metaphorically, literally past the 238,000-mile mark. You'd need a ladder made of money to climb that high. I'm not even kidding. We're talking 4 million tons of paper. You'd need 400,000 semi-trucks just to move it. That's a traffic jam from New York to Los Angeles and back. Twice, facts, laid out flat. It'd cover all of New York City in a 10-foot thick carpet of cash. You could literally swim in it like Scrooge McDuck. Though I wouldn't recommend it. Paper cuts, you know? Big L if you try. From a lifestyle perspective. This is where it gets fun. TBH, $39 trillion is enough to buy every American household 3 Tesla Model 3 seconds. And still have change left over for charging stations. It could pay for 4 years of college for every single student in America with $10 trillion left over for beer money. We're talking premium craft beer, not that cheap stuff. This slaps hard. You could buy Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla, Meta, and Nvidia. Then buy them all again. Then buy Netflix for good measure. And still have enough to buy a small country, maybe 2. Period. But you know what? The number that actually matters isn't how high the stack is. It's the debt-to-GDP ratio. That's where things get spicy. Low-key terrifying, actually. See, America's debt-to-GDP ratio just hit 135%. Translation? The government owes more than the entire country produces in a year. By 35%. I'm shook. To put that in perspective, let's look at how we stack up against other major economies. Japan's sitting at 260%, which sounds terrifying. But here's the thing. Most of Japan's debt is domestic. They basically owe themselves. Italy's at 140%, slightly worse than us. China's at 80%. Germany's at 70%. So yeah, we're not the worst off, but we're definitely in the danger zone. That 100% mark? That's the threshold economists start getting nervous. We're well past that. Think about it like this, right? You make $100K a year, but you owe $135K deep pay bass. Plus, you're paying $10K annually in interest. And that debt is growing 10% per year while your salary stays flat. How long do you think you can keep that party going? Not very long, my friend. It's giving financial disaster vibes. Okay, now that we've got the scale down, let's talk about the real nightmare fuel. Part 2, the interest trap. Here's a fun fact that should terrify you. In 2026, the US government will pay over $1 trillion in debt interest. Let that sink in for a moment. That's $400 billion more than the entire defense budget. We're literally paying more to service debt than to defend the country. That's like paying your credit card bill instead of fixing your roof while it's raining. It equals the entire Medicare budget. So, we could either pay for healthcare for seniors or pay interest to bankers. Guess which one we chose? And get this, education spending? A measly $80 billion. That's less than 1/10 of what we're paying in interest. We're spending 12 times more on debt interest than on educating the next generation. Make it make sense. It breaks down to about $2 million every minute. $280 million every single day. You watch a 15-second TikTok? America just paid $500K in interest. That's $500,000 for you to watch a cat play piano. You take a 30-minute lunch break? $60 million gone. Poof. Just for eating your sandwich. You sleep 8 hours? $960 million. Just for the privilege of catching some Z's. Sweet dreams are made of compound interest, apparently. And here's the really scary part. That interest payment, it's eating up 18% of all federal revenue. Nearly 1/5 of every tax dollar goes straight to paying interest. Not roads, not schools, not healthcare, just interest. We're basically working 1 day a week just to pay the credit card bill. Big yikes. So how did we get here? That's what we're diving into next. Part 3. How did we get here? Now, here's where it gets really scary. And I mean horror movie level scary. America is trapped in a Ponzi scheme of its own making. And no, that's not hyperbole. Let's watch this snowball turn into an avalanche, shall we? It's actually kind of impressive in a terrifying way. I'm low-key shook. July 2024 crossed $35 trillion. Only 7 months after hitting 34 Teddy. Starting to pick up speed, November 2024 hit $36 trillion. Just 4 months, $1 trillion. Gone. Like my will to live after seeing my tax bill. No cap, August 2025, $37 trillion. Slowed down a bit, 9 months this time. Maybe they're trying to be responsible? Nah, I can't even. October 2025, $38 trillion. 2 months. Record speed. They're not even pretending anymore. This hits different. March 2026, $39 trillion. 5 months, back to normal. Crazy. Which is still pretty crazy. Fall 2026. Projected $40 trillion. At this rate, we'll be there by Halloween. Trick or treat? Definitely a trick. Big L for everyone. See the pattern? It's accelerating. And the bigger the debt, the faster it grows because interest compounds on interest. It's like credit card debt, except the credit card is issued by the entire world and the minimum payment is $1 trillion. Redder testigly is after it A. Dollar loses value equals foreign investors buy less. They're not stupid. Foreign investors buy less equals rates must rise to attract buyers. More interest. Rates rise equals. Paper clips, probably. Here's the ugly truth. And I mean really ugly. Like before coffee in the morning. Ugly. The US government is running a legal Ponzi scheme. Let me walk you through it. Old debt comes due. Government looks at bank account, no money. Issue. New debt to pay old debt. This is fine. Everything's fine. Who buys it? Foreign investors, domestic institutions, and the Federal Reserve. Fed buys debt equals printing money. Magic. Printing money equals inflation. Less magic, more problems. Inflation equals dollar loses value. Your savings cry. Dollar loses value equals Foreign investors buy less. They're not stupid. Foreign investors buy less equals rates must rise to attract buyers, more interest. Rates rise equals interest payments increase. Back to step 1. How long can this continue? Nobody knows. But history teaches us that all debt cycles eventually end. The only questions are when and how messy it gets. And my friends, it's probably gonna get messy. Now, you're probably asking yourself a very reasonable question. Part 4. Why hasn't it collapsed yet? Okay, so you might be wondering, if things are this bad, why hasn't the whole thing collapsed yet? Why are we not living in a Mad Max wasteland already? To understand this, we need to borrow from Ray Dalio's masterpiece, Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crises. Yes, that's a real book, and yes, it's as depressing as it sounds. Dalio breaks debt cycles into 7 stages, kind of like the stages of grief, but for your wallet. Stage 1. Early stage, debt grows strong but doesn't outpace income. Think post-We America. The good old days? Stage 2. Bubble stage, debt grows faster than income. Asset prices boom. Party time, everyone's buying houses they can't afford. Stage 3. The top asset prices get too high. Reversal is brewing. Uh-oh. Someone just yelled fire in the crowded theater. Stage 4. Depression, defaults, and restructuring cascade. Not fun. Think 2008, but worse. Stage 5. Beautiful deleveraging. Balance inflationary and deflationary forces. The dream scenario. Rarely happens. Stage 6. Pushing on a string. Monetary policy loses effectiveness. This is where we are now. Interest rates near zero mean the Fed can't really cut rates anymore to stimulate the economy. It's like trying to push a rope you can push, but the rope ain't moving forward. Physics, folks. Stage 7. Normalization, recovery takes 5 to 10 years. Fingers crossed we get here. So, where's America now? Past the bubble stage, the 2008 financial crisis popped the housing bubble and forced bank restructuring. We survived that. Yay us. Late stage of the long-term debt cycle. High debt, but full-blown crisis hasn't triggered yet. We're in the calm before the storm phase. Facing the pushing on a string problem, interest rates near zero mean traditional monetary policy, rate cuts, has limited room to maneuver. Dalio identifies 4 tools for deleveraging, kind of like financial avengers. Austerity, deflationary, cut spending, raise taxes, politically impossible. No politician wants to be the one who raises taxes and cuts benefits. Debt defaults, restructuring. Deflationary, admit you can't pay. Embarrassing, would destroy confidence in the dollar. Debt monetization, money printing, inflationary. The Fed's favorite, just print more money. Problem solved. Except for inflation, but that's tomorrow's problem, right? Wide transfers from rich to poor. Good luck with that in America. The billionaires aren't exactly lining up to share. Guess which one America is primarily using? Ding ding ding. Tool 3. Debt monetization. Quantitative easing. QE. The Fed buys treasuries, injecting liquidity into markets. Fancy way of saying printing money. It's like Monopoly, but the bank never runs out of money because it's literally making it up. George Papastandreou, Greece's finance minister during their debt crisis, shared some lessons that apply perfectly to America. And trust me, Greece knows a thing or two about debt crises. An economy is only as strong as its weakest link. In 2009, Greece was Europe's weakest link. Today, America is looking like one of the global economy's weakest links. Not a great look. Delay only makes choices fewer. During Greece's crisis, GDP fell 27%, comparable to America's Great Depression, 1929 to 1932. But while America recovered in 2-3 years, Greece needed over a decade. A lost decade. Imagine explaining to your kids why they can't afford college because of decisions made 20 years ago. When crisis hits, the decision window is short, and perfect tools don't exist. Every option carries risks and costs. The question isn't whether there will be pain, but who bears it. Spoiler, it's probably gonna be us regular folks, not the politicians or bankers. All right, that's a lot to take in. Let's wrap this up. Say less. 39 trillion on our marn isn't the finish line. It's not even halftime. It's a snowball picking up speed, rolling downhill, and we're all standing at the bottom wondering if we should move. I'm not gonna lie, it's giving anxiety. Fall 2026, $40 trillion ped 2027, 41 trillion, 42 trillion, right? The question isn't if this ends badly. It's when and how and whether you're prepared for it. Period. Historically, debt crises resolve in two ways. Sudden collapse, confidence evaporates. Rates spike, defaults cascade. Think 2008, but bigger. Slow erosion. Decades of low growth, high inflation, gradually eroding purchasing power. Think Japan's lost decades. Which path will America take? Honestly, probably somewhere in between. A slow-motion train wreck that takes years to fully unfold. Big L either way. Greece collapsed at 113% debt to GDP. Japan's still standing at 240%. America's at 100 and direct dissect staff, the tipping. Japan's still standing at 240%. America's at 135. Foreign. The difference? Greece couldn't print euros to pay debt. They were stuck. Japan can print yen. And 90% of its debt is domestic. They owe themselves. America has dollar hegemony, but higher foreign debt exposure than Japan. So where does that leave us? Somewhere between we're fine and we're doomed. Comforting, right? I can't even. Next episode, we're diving deep. Lessons from Greece, Japan, and Argentina. Key differences between America and these cases. Where's the tipping point? And most importantly, what can you do about it? If you care about your wallet, your investments, gander future, hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button. Leave a comment telling me what you think. Drop a comment. What worries you most about US debt? Inflation eating your savings? Dollar devaluation making your trip to China more expensive? A sudden financial crisis wiping out your 401k? Or are you one of those it'll all work out optimists? I'd love to hear your reasoning. Seriously, I could use some optimism right now. No cap. See you in the next one. And maybe start thinking about diversifying your portfolio. Just saying, not financial advice, but maybe don't put all your eggs in the dollar basket. Stay safe out there, folks. And remember, the best time to prepare for a crisis is before it happens. Peace. Bed.